What's happening, my good people? PKG Deluxe here, back with another vid, trying to let you guys know exactly how I did. So cool, we are here back with this wrap up on how this entire job went. And if you guys are with me and paid attention on the last video, you realize that this was pretty quick, pretty simple, pretty easy. I told you guys it would be, and I told you guys it wouldn't be that long. So two of the things I always try to go in and figure out is, what's the Wi-Fi password? The simplest question of all is, what's that Wi-Fi? That's going to open up the doors to everything else. And if they don't know it, that's going to be the first problem that you're going to run into. So anything before you go into a job that deals with networking and Wi-Fi, make sure you get the Wi-Fi password. It's just a tip to know. You know, something to walk into. So it's one less problem that you'll have to deal with if you were dealing with people that really did not know that part. So take that as a note, walk into the house, say, hey, what is the Wi-Fi password? You know, figure that part out first and then go from there. Everything else that person was asking for was simply done. And we used the app to do it. So once she said she had a links system, I immediately knew that, hey, I got to go ahead and get this app downloaded, put it on your phone and show you how it works, because I'm not going to be the one that's going to control this from the point on when I install it. So she has some questions in regards to how to do bandwidth. Bandwidth is something that we don't really talk too much about because not a lot of people know about it. Now, bandwidth is in one or two options. So when you get a router and a modem, you'll have certain towers that it goes on, the bandwidth that it goes on. Those bandwidths come in 1, 2, and 3. So you have the setups that you get now from the store. They'll either say dual band or tri-band, alright? So I say all that to say the dual band means that, hey, I got 2 streams of internet inserts that I can use all devices in my household that may require internet. So the reason that's so important is because think of how many devices in your household that may require internet.
3 days later, 12 seconds later, 3:28 a.m., 8:01 p.m. The next day, meanwhile, at the Krusty Krab, 10 seconds later.
There's a lot of devices in your household that requires internet. If you start thinking about it, tablets, phones, just Alexa, Google Assistant, all of these things require some type of internet to go with on. And as you use them, you're sitting here thinking to yourself like, wow, you know, that's a lot of stuff. Not even to mention the outside stuff that may require Wi-Fi as well. Don't even throw in the fact that I got a barn outside, so it gets even worse. Alright guys, so I just want you to understand how much internet stuff you may have. Look at the options of how far your Wi-Fi is able to extend. And if you just have a router that's the standard router from where you get from like a Porium, Spectrum, or AT&T, it's not going to be able to do all the services that you're requiring and asking it to do. So if you go to the store and get all these devices like Amazon Alexa and Fire Sticks and Google Assistants and everything else is going to require services to be on, your bandwidth is going to slow down. So as she had that first set, she wasn't able to put all this information up there. So here we go, right back to the bandwidth. You have a 1 and a 2 and a 3. So she wants to set up everything that's going to be heavier in volume of internet service on one band, one tri-band, and then put everything else is going to be on a second, which would be the tablets, phones, devices, things of that nature. Now, why would you do that? Alright, cool. So let's get to that point. If you're doing that, the reason that you would do it is because think about what you're streaming for. A lot of people now go in to watch Netflix and Hulu and anything that's on YouTube. Most of those things that you're watching are coming in 4K content. The last time you heard about 4K was almost a decade old. So when you look at the content that you're looking at now, it has a higher volume of internet that it requires, so it doesn't give you that buffering problem that you're going to expect when you're watching your Batman or your Spider-Man or your greatest movie that you ever thought it was going to be in 4K ultra high definition. It gets blurry and it'll get staticky. All those things can happen if it starts buffering and then just stop. So that's the reason why your heavier volume stuff that's going on internet, you want to put on one band. And then the secondary band you usually use for everything else. If any other device that isn't going to have heavy volume of streaming recording. So what's the reason for the dual versus the tri-band? Alright, cool. Dual versus tri. So once you fill up all of your first stuff with a band of information like TVs and tablets, and once you fill up your secondary information with phones and everything else, you now have an additional band that you can use for guests that may come in, so that none of your devices and also your garage stuff back there does not slow down your content of speed on the internet. So that means if someone walks up to my door and I'm using my phone and I got 17 people in the house and we're having a party, I still should be able to see who's coming into my door. That's the idea of it. It should not slow down my resolution. I shouldn't have lower response time because of that. And because of how my internet is configured and set up, everything should operate and run fast. Regardless of if I have 18 people or 25 people, they should all be on a separate tower where it does not interfere with any of the devices that I had in this household. So that's the reason for the dual versus tri. And these are the things people do not know when they're buying internet routers. And I give this little breakdown just to give people a little niche in the bunch, just to have something as a, because if they get upset my stuff in the backyard isn't really picking up on, or I have latency in my cameras in the back, and you know I have a fear for someone coming in my backyard, I'm like, yeah. So the reason that you'll have that is because of your Wi-Fi connection. You want to make sure that Wi-Fi connection is able to pick up in all spots of your households, and you have no dead spots available. So that was a little quick fix today. I wanted to give you guys that little piece of advice, simple nugget. Just want you to know to, you know, get out there and make your bucks, make your dollars. It's an easy hustle. I just want you guys to get to it. So if you have any questions, PKG Deluxe is here. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. And I'll definitely give you some more details in regards to the next job. All right? PKG Deluxe out, baby.